Was that the bottom for the crypto market? So in case you missed it, about 16 hours ago, we had some crazy price action from Bitcoin with the market rallying about $2,000 in 2 hours. And if you were on social media at the time, there were a lot of calls for a bottom based on that price action. So in today's video, I'm going to share with you my thoughts on what just happened. Is it the bottom for crypto, or is it just a blip on the chart and we have lower to go? All right, so we're going to take a look at the 4-hour time frame today for BTC. This is what we've been focused on now for the past few days. And I'm going to start here with this inverse head and shoulders. Okay, now I talked about this in the video just the other day, and the key takeaway from this was that I always thought this pattern would fail. And I was telling members that even when this was starting to form and starting to break out here. And the reason for that, there were a few factors involved. So first of all, the downtrend has been incredibly aggressive here. So anytime you get a counter trend pattern like this, you have to be careful. Furthermore, this was a very obvious pattern, and there were a lot of people talking about it. A lot of retail was talking about this pattern. And a lot of times when you get that, okay, it does fail. Where the market, you get a lot of people sucked in to buying this breakout, and then all of a sudden it fails. And that's exactly what we saw. Now, furthermore, there were two other factors here that led me to believe it was likely to fail. And I talked about both of these on Twitter. So the first one is this bearish head and shoulders. Now, this is much smaller than the inverse pattern. However, we got the breakout, and then Bitcoin started to look relatively weak here with a head and shoulders pattern. Okay, now furthermore, as part of that pattern, we also got a fake out above 21,500. So I've talked about this stuff before. If you get a fake out like this, okay, so from a very obvious level here at 21.5, you got the close above it, the close right back below, and then a retest as resistance. Okay, so a fake out like this to one side of a key level usually triggers an extended move in the opposite direction. So for Bitcoin, that meant a move lower, and that's exactly what we got. Now, the same thing with this failed level. Okay, so we got the close above it, retest as support here, retest again here, and then this level failed on a 4-hour basis on this candle. Okay, so I also talked about this on Twitter. We got the 4-hour close back below the level, which this right here, okay, this close back below confirmed that this up here was a false break in the same way that this up here was a false break above 21,500. So once again, a fake out to one side of a pattern usually triggers an extended move in the opposite direction. So here we had the close below, and Bitcoin tried to get back above on this 4-hour candle. It failed. And then last night, this right here is the big rally that we had going into the end of the quarter. Okay, so you notice that this rally failed rather quickly, and Bitcoin once again closed right back below the neckline of that failed pattern. Okay, so what's going on here? Was that the bottom? Did that price action mark the bottom, or was it really just noise? Okay, so right now, here's what I'm gonna say. As long as Bitcoin is below this area around $19,800, you have to take what just happened with a grain of salt. Now, what I will say is looking at the daily chart, you can see where yesterday did reclaim this level that it broke below intraday. Okay, so I've talked about 19,800. This is the big macro level. It's also where we saw this fake out back here a few weekends ago. Okay, so we had the close below, the close above, and then we got that slight rally. All right, so 19,800 is going to be key on a daily closing basis. So what that means is where today closes at 8 p.m. Eastern, approximately 8 hours from now, is going to be absolutely crucial for whether or not Bitcoin can rally a bit, or if we do see that next leg lower. So if Bitcoin does close the day below 19,800, then really I think the market is going to continue to pressure this area, this support region down here around $19,000, and we likely get that move down here to test the $17,600 low. All right, so that's what I'm watching right now. If you're a trader, in my opinion, this is the kind of stuff you want to avoid. Okay, so if you missed fading this rally up here, then this right here, this sideways movement, is what you want to try to avoid. All right, you want to try to play breakouts either like the fake out up here, okay, or the close below this level for this move right here. You do not want to be trading when the market is just going sideways between two key levels. Now, one thing you could watch for to the downside, okay, in addition to $19,000, that horizontal area, is a trend line off of this low down here, because this is a significant low. All right, this is a multi-year low for Bitcoin. So this area down here is likely to be significant for BTC on the way down. So if you're a breakout trader, and this is just my opinion, not financial advice, but if you're a breakout trader, you're going to want to watch for a close below this area down here. Okay, a 4-hour close should do it. And again, if we do see Bitcoin reclaim 19,800 into today's close at 8 p.m. Eastern, all right, so if we get the close up here and this level stays intact as support on a daily closing basis, then there is a good chance that we see Bitcoin rally back up toward 21,500. Okay, but another thing you're going to want to keep an eye on, and I've talked about this at length, is the S&P 500, because the S&P 500 and Bitcoin are extremely correlated right now. Bitcoin is basically following the S&P 500 tick for tick. All right, so let me show you what I mean. If we move over here, this is basically the entire year so far, and you can see where every time the two top out, they top out together. Same thing with these swing lows. And especially recently, the two have been incredibly correlated on the way down. And that's because we are getting that intensification of this risk off period. And a lot of times when you get extreme risk off periods, everything becomes correlated. Okay, so for the S&P 500, this is also going to be one to watch. So we've talked about this fake out up here. And once again, notice how this candle confirmed that this up here was the fake out. Okay, and we got that move lower. Now, I personally think we still have lower to go, but it's all going to depend on the price action here over the next few days. Can the S&P 500 break below this short-term trend line that has developed off of this low from back here in June? Okay, so this is now a monthly low and a significant one at that for the S&P 500. Same thing with Bitcoin. So really, if the S&P 500 gets below this level here on a 4-hour closing basis over the coming days, I think we see that retest of 3,700 and also 3,640, and that's likely to drag the entire crypto market lower. Now, that said, I continue to like the S&P 500 lower toward that $3,400 pre-COVID high, and I talked about that just the other day. Okay, so the only thing that would negate this for the S&P 500 and lift the crypto market higher is going to be a close, a reclaim of this area between 3,820 and really 3,850. Okay, so this level up here, the S&P 500 would have to reclaim this area through here in order to turn higher and lift the crypto market higher. As long as this is intact as resistance, all right, we have to respect this breakdown here and also that recent fake out. Okay, because remember, a fake out to one side of a pattern usually triggers an extended move in the opposite direction. So far, we've seen the S&P 500 sell off a little bit from this breakdown, but ultimately it has been sideways. Okay, so we haven't gotten that extended move yet, but I do think that that's coming. So the S&P 500 is going to be one to keep an eye on over the coming days, because that is going to direct the price action for Bitcoin and the rest of the crypto market. So circling back to BTC, all right, it's going to come down to this. So we had the fake out above this failed level, okay, this failed pattern. And so far, Bitcoin is holding below it on a 4-hour closing basis. So again, into today's close at 8 p.m. Eastern, if BTC can close above 19,800, then we could see some further relief. If it does not, then this level becomes even stronger as resistance, and we likely see the market pressure this area down here around 19,000. Break below that, we're likely looking at a retest of 17,600 and most likely down toward the $16,000 area. All right, so a lot happening right now, but again, it's not financial advice. However, if you are trading these markets, this is the kind of stuff where there's really no point in trading it because you're just going to get chopped up. So you're going to want to wait for either a daily close up here or that break below 19,000 for that continuation lower. All right, so that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed the content. And if you did, be sure to subscribe to the channel and click that bell icon for notifications. Smash the like button and leave your comment below. I hope you all have a great weekend, and I will talk to you again on Monday.